How many of you have a job you really, really love? And even if you really, really do love it, do you really want to work that same job until you die? Probably not, but unfortunately, with today's current Social Security system, this may be what you end up having to do. What I'm going to talk about is the current Social Security system and the flaws that are found in it, and what could be done to save this. This is relevant because this is seen to affect our parents' generation, our generation, and will be seen to affect our children's generation. I'm credible to speak on this because I've done much scholarly research. So, without any further ado, I'll continue. The U.S. population should set up personal individual accounts for retirement plans as opposed to relying on the current Social Security system. I will first discuss the problems with the current government-run Social Security funding. Secondly, I will propose a solution that involves setting up personal accounts. Before you can realize the importance of individual accounts, I must first tell you the problem with the current Social Security system. The current Social Security fund is running out of money and may not have enough to cover our generation's and future generations' retirement pensions. Well, why is this? As recorded by Arlene Dohm in her article titled Gauging the Labor Force Effects of Retiring Baby Boomers, she states that the baby boomer generation, which began in 1946, produced 76 million new Americans in the span of 19 years. And, as stated by Jackie Combs, this was not seen as a problem at first because the government figured the baby boomer generation would provide enough children to work in the labor force so as to pay and add additional funding for the baby boomers' retirement pensions. However, the baby boomer generation did not have as many children. In fact, they had less, which according to Christine Barber and Gerald Wright in their book Keeping the Republic, means that as more of the baby boomer generation retires and less people of this generation are in the workforce, the Social Security fund will have to be tapped into in order for the retirees to receive their benefits. As if this is not problematic enough, another problem is that because the job market is becoming less and less dependable, people are retiring at even earlier ages. Gail Marks Jarvis, a writer of the Chicago Tribune, states that as these people are retiring, they are not continuing to pay taxes, while also receiving 25% lower monthly benefits. This results in people not having the money they need to live comfortably in retirement. To add to this problem, the government is already borrowing money, and eventually they will have to pay it back. According to Barber and Wright, if nothing is done, the Social Security fund will run out by 2041. 2041, though it seems like a long way, is only 28 years away, which means we and our children will be affected by this system. To secure our futures, we have to change the Social Security system. How do we do this? Well, first, the younger generation needs to start thinking about the future in terms of trying to be less selfish for the older generation, and also by setting up personal accounts for their own retirement pensions. What does that mean by being less selfish? Well, the younger generation must preserve and respect the benefits that were promised to the previous generation. This means the money being taken out for Social Security should continue to be withdrawn from everybody's paychecks. However, as of the year 2014, all those people who are 25 years or younger should no longer be eligible to receive Social Security benefits. So, what does this really mean for the U.S. population, and what does it mean for the students of Wayne State? Well, the U.S. population and the students of Wayne State can help with this process by writing letters to the government to change the system and by supporting the decision to set up personal accounts. These personal accounts will be set up as such. 1/3 of the current tax that is taken out of everyone's paycheck towards Social Security will continue to go towards the older generation's pensions. Thus, meaning we won't be selfish in terms of trying to keep our own money, but we will continue to let the older generation retire in comfort. But the rest of the 2/3 will be set aside and saved in individual annuities or people's personal accounts with insurance companies, as explained by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. When these people are ready for retirement, their money will be safely waiting for them in their accounts. This process can happen if the U.S. and Wayne State students voice their opinions to Congress and the government and by supporting the decision to change the system. Though it may seem impossible, the whole problem can be eliminated with just a few changes. So, first, I talked about the problems with the current Social Security system, which means that basically the funding is running low and running out and may not be enough to support our generations and our children's generations' retirement plans. Second, I stated that this can be changed by having just personal accounts set up for each individual person so that everyone is in charge of their own money and thus they are in charge of their own retirement plans. Though this may not seem important to you now because you're only, a college student and you're nowhere near retirement age, just think about your parents. Do you really want them working the rest of their lives, maybe having to come and live with you because they can't support their own living expenses? Then think about yourself. Do you really want to work until you die?